In this video, I want to break down exactly how to get 10 plus clients consistently every single month for your any service business in 2026 so you can predictably scale from 40k, 50k, 60k and all the way up to $1 million a month. Now, if you don't know who I am, I've been doing client acquisition for service businesses since 2020, and over these past 5 years, I've seen this industry completely transform from the spray and pray era to what actually works today. Back in 2020, when I started my first agency, cold email was simple. I would build a list of 1000 people, write one generic template and just blast it out to everyone. And you know what? It actually worked back then. I would get responses, I would book calls, I would sign clients, but that all is gone. If you tried that today, if you build a list of 1000 prospects and send them all the same generic template, you're going to get your domain blacklisted, your emails will land in spam, and the few people who do see your message will ignore you because you look like every other desperate agency owner in their inbox. The game has changed completely, and what most people don't realize is that cold email in 2026 isn't really about email anymore. It's about authority, it's about positioning, it's about making prospects feel like they would be stupid not to take a call with you. And that's exactly what I am going to break down for you today. The complete system I use to consistently book 10 plus qualified calls per month based on what's actually working right now, not what worked 5 years ago. Let me take you back to 2020 for a second, because understanding where we came from will help you understand why most people are still stuck using tactics that don't work anymore. When I started doing cold email in 2020, it was the Wild West. You could send 500 emails a day from a single domain and nothing would happen. Deliverability was easy, spam filters were lenient, and prospects were less skeptical because they weren't getting bombarded with dozens of cold emails every single day. So my strategy was simple: build a massive list, write a decent template, personalize the first line maybe, and send it to everyone. I remember my first successful campaign. I built a list of 1200 e-commerce brands, wrote a template about increasing their Google Ads performance, and sent it out over the course of a week. I got maybe 30 responses, booked 12 calls, signed 3 clients, and I thought I had figured it out. I thought this is easy, I'll just keep doing this and I'll scale to 6 figures in no time. But then something started to shift. By 2021, my response rates started dropping. The same templates that used to get 3 to 4% response rates were now getting 1 to 2%. Domains started getting flagged more easily, prospects were getting more annoyed, and by 2022, the spray and pray approach was basically dead. I realized I had a choice. I could keep doing what I was doing and watch my results continue to decline, or I could completely reinvent my approach. So I spent the better part of 2022 and 2023 testing, experimenting, failing, and figuring out what actually works in this new environment. And here is what I discovered: cold email in 2026 isn't about volume, it's about authority. The agencies and service businesses that are consistently signing 10 plus clients per month right now aren't the ones sending the most emails. They are the ones who have built enough authority that when a prospect gets their email, they actually pay attention. Why authority is everything now? Here is the brutal truth that most people don't want to hear. If you have no authority, your cold emails are just noise. Think about it from the prospect's perspective. They are getting 20, 30, maybe 50 cold emails per week. Everyone is promising the same thing: more clients, more revenue, better results. So when your email lands in their inbox and they have never heard of you, and they Google your name and find nothing, and they check your LinkedIn and it looks like everyone else, why would they respond? They wouldn't, and they don't. This is why I made a fundamental shift in my approach around mid-2023. I stopped treating cold email as a stand-alone tactic and started treating it as part of an authority building system. Here is what that actually means. Before I send a single cold email to a prospect, I make sure that when they Google my name, they find content, they find insights, they find proof that I actually know what I am talking about. I started posting consistently on LinkedIn about client acquisition. I started documenting what I was learning, the frameworks that worked, the mistakes I made, the results I was getting for clients. And something interesting happened. The same cold emails that used to get ignored started getting response. Not because the emails got better, the actual copy was almost identical, but because when prospects clicked on my profile, they saw someone who had authority, someone who had been doing this for years, someone who was actively sharing valuable insights, and that changed the entire dynamic of the conversation. Instead of "who is this person and why should I care?" it became, oh, this person actually knows what they are talking. Let me hear what they have to say. The mathematics of scaling. Now let me get into something really important that most business owners completely ignore. The actual mathematics of scaling to 100k, 200k, even $1 million a month. Here is what I mean. Let's say you are charging $5,000 per month for your service. To hit 100,000 a month, you need 20 clients. Sounds simple, right? But here is what nobody tells you. Even if you have great retention, and let's be real, best case scenario as a service business, you are probably looking at around 10% monthly churn. That means you are losing 2 clients every single month at that scale. So if you want to actually grow from 100k to 200k, you can't just sign 2 clients per month. You are just replacing the ones you lost. You are trading water. You are plateauing. This is the trap that keeps businesses stuck. They can't sign more clients than they are losing. It's just a simple mathematical equation. To grow from 100k to 200k per month, you need to be signing at least 6 to 8 new clients every month. To get from 50k to 100k, you need 4 to 6 new clients per month consistently. And here's the kicker, you can't do this with inconsistent lead flow. You can't do this hoping that social media posts go viral or that your outreach randomly pops up one month and then goes dead the next. You need predictable client acquisition, and that's what this entire system is built for. Why old cold email tactics fail? Now let me tell you what doesn't work anymore, and I know this because I've made every single one of these mistakes. Mistake 1. Building massive lists and sending generic templates. This is what I did in 2020 and it worked, but in 2026 it's a death sentence for your domain. When I tried to scale this approach in 2021 and 2022, I burned through domains like crazy. I would spend 500 emails, get flagged, and have to start over with a new domain. It was inefficient, expensive, and the results kept getting worse. Mistake 2. Having no authority or social proof. I used to send emails from a completely blank LinkedIn profile. No post, no content, just a profile picture and a job title. When prospects checked me out, they saw nothing, and when you give prospects no reason to trust you, they won't. This is why I started documenting my journey publicly. I needed prospects to be able to verify that I was the real deal. Mistake 3. Treating cold email like a numbers game. For the longest time, I thought more emails equals more clients. So I would send 500, 600, 700 emails per week. But what I learned is that cold email in 2026 is not about volume, it's about precision. I went from sending 500 emails per week to 100 emails per week. My response rates went from 1 to 2% to 8 to 12%. And the quality of prospects I was talking to completely changed. Why? Because I was targeting better, I was personalizing more, and I had built enough authority that when people got my email, they actually cared. So here is what actually works right now, and this is based on what I have been doing for the past year. That's consistently booking 10 plus qualified calls per month for my clients. You need to combine 3 elements. Element 1, authority first positioning. Before you send a single cold email, you need to build authority. This doesn't mean you need 100,000 followers. It doesn't mean you need to be famous. It just means that when a prospect Googles your name or clicks on your LinkedIn, they see someone who knows what they are doing. Here is what I did. I started posting on LinkedIn 3 to 4 times per week about client acquisition. I shared frameworks, I shared case studies, I documented what was working and what wasn't. I wasn't trying to go viral, I wasn't trying to build a massive following. I was just trying to create enough content that when a prospect checked me out, they would think, okay, this person actually knows what they are talking about. And that made all the difference. Element 2, precision targeting, not mass outreach. Here is the shift I made that changed everything. I stopped trying to email as many people as possible, and I started trying to email the right people. Instead of building lists of 1000 prospects, I started building lists of 50, 100 perfect fit prospects. I would spend time researching each one, understanding their business, looking at their pain points, crafting messages that were actually relevant to them. And my response rates skyrocket. Because when you send someone an email that's clearly written just for them, based on real research, they respond. When you send them a template that could have been sent to anyone, they ignore it. Element 3, understanding your CAC to LTV ratio. Now here's where most people mess this up, and this is critical if you want to scale past 50k per month. You need to understand your customer acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio. And I'm not talking about some big estimate, I'm talking about knowing this number to the dollar. Let me break this down because this was a game changer for me when I finally understood it. Let's say it cost you $2,000 to acquire a client through cold email or ads. That includes your time, your tools, your labor, everything. That's your CAC, your customer acquisition cost. Now, if that client only pays you $5,000 total before they churn, that's your LTV, your lifetime value. Your CAC to LTV ratio is 2.5x. And here is the problem. That's not good enough to scale. Why? Because when you start to build a team, when you bring on account managers, when you hire salespeople, when you add operational overhead, you need padding. You need cushion for human error, for ramp-up time, for the inevitable mistakes that happen when you are scaling. If you are running at a 3x CAC to LTV, you are running too tight. You are one bad month away from going unprofitable. For service business agencies, consulting, anything people intensive, you need at least 6x CAC to LTV if you are doing the sales yourself. And if you are building a sales team, you want to push that up to 9x. Let me give you an example from my own business. When I first started tracking this religiously in 2023, my CAC was around $1,500 per client through cold email. My average client was paying me about $6,000 over their lifetime. That's a 4x ratio. That worked when it was just me, but as soon as I started bringing on help account managers, BAs, people to handle the operational side, my margins got squeezed. So I made two changes. First, I increased my retention by improving my onboarding and delivery. My average LTV went from $6,000 to $12,000. Second, I added an upsell. About 1 in 3 clients now takes an additional service, which pushes my average LTV to around $15,000. Now my CAC to LTV ratio is 10x, and that gives me room to scale, room to hire, room to make mistakes without going broke. And here is the thing, most people focus on lowering their CAC. They obsess over it. How do I get my acquisition cost down? But that's the wrong focus. Your CAC through cold email is going to be what it is, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,500 for most service businesses. You can optimize it a bit, but you are not going to cut it in half. What you can scale infinitely is your LTV. Focus on retention, focus on onboarding, focus on delivering results, focus on upsells and cross-sales. That's where the real leverage is. Now, let me break down exactly how I am doing cold email right now, because this is completely different from how I did it in 2020. Step 1. I build small, hyper-targeted list. Instead of 1,000 prospects, I'm building list of 50 to 100 perfect fit prospects per week. These are businesses that match my ideal client profile exactly. Step 2. I research each prospect individually. I'm not just pulling names from a database. I'm actually looking at their business. What are they doing well? What could be improved? What specific pain points might they have? This takes time, but it's worth it because it allows me to send emails that are actually relevant. Step 3. I send authority-backed emails. My emails don't look like pitches, they look like insights from a peer. Here's the framework I use. Line 1, specific observations about their business. Line 2, relevant insight based on my experience. Line 3, soft offer to share more if they are interested. Here's an example. Hey, name. I notice you are targeting a specific market. Over the past few years, I've helped several companies in your space consistently book 40 plus qualified calls per month through cold email. One thing I noticed they all struggled with initially was a specific problem. Happy to share what worked if you are dealing with something similar. See the difference from the standard pitch. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not making big claims. I'm just offering value from a position of authority. Step 4. I follow up strategically. Most people give up after one email. I follow up 3 to 4 times over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, each time adding a new insight or piece of value. And because I've built authority, because my emails are relevant, and because I'm targeting the right people, my response rates are consistently 8 to 12%. Here's what I realized over the past couple of years. If you want to consistently sign 10 plus clients per month, you can't rely on randomness. You need a system, a repeatable process that you can execute week after week. For me, that system is authority-backed cold email, but it's not just sending emails, it's building authority through consistent content, targeting the right prospects based on specific criteria, crafting personalized messages that demonstrate research, following up strategically without being annoying, tracking every metrics so I know what's working and what's not. When I built this system, I went from 2 to 3 inconsistent client conversations per week to 10 to 15 qualified calls per week. And that changed everything. Because here is the truth. If you can get 10 qualified calls per week and you close it even a 20% rate, that's 40k in new monthly recurring revenue if you are charging 5k per month. That's how you scale. Now, I'm personally focused on cold email right now because it's what I know best and it's what's working. But I'm also planning to shift into Google and Meta ads soon as I continue to scale. And I'll be documenting that entire journey, the exact frameworks, the ad creative, the funnel structure, all of it. But here is what you need to understand right now. You need authority plus precision outreach. You can't just blast emails anymore. You need to build your personal brand. You need to post content. You need to document your journey so people know who you are. And then you need a structured outbound system that targets the right people with the right message at the right time. Now, before I get to the offer, I want to talk about something that's critical as you scale: maintaining your standards. One of the biggest lessons I've learned since 2020 is that the habits that got you your first client are the same habits that will get you to 100 clients if you don't let them sleep. As you grow, as you get more clients, as you bring on team members, it's so easy to stop doing the things that made you successful in the first place. You stop tracking your metrics, you skip the weekly reviews, you don't follow up as consistently. But here's what I have learned: the standards you set at 3 clients need to be the same standards you have at 30 clients. Are you tracking your metrics? Do you know your response rate? Do you know your show rate? Do you know your close rate? Do you know your cost per qualified call? Do you know your actual LTV to the dollar? If you can't answer those questions right now, you need to fix that immediately, because you can't scale what you don't measure. I track everything in my business: every single email sent, every response received, every call booked, every client signed, every dollar spent, and every dollar earned. Because when you have that level of clarity, you can make better decisions. You know exactly what levers to pull to grow. You know exactly what's working and what's not. Now let me talk about how I can help you if you are serious about scaling. If you are running a service business right now, whether it's an agency, recruiting, consulting, coaching, whatever, and you are already doing well, maybe you are at 30k, 40k per month, but you want to scale to 100k, 200k per month consistently, here's what I have got for you. I figured out a proven system to scale service businesses to 100k, 200k, and even beyond per month through predictable client acquisition. And I'm offering to share that entire system with you and your team. If you want my help, if you want me to look at your specific situation and show you exactly what you need to implement to start booking 10 plus qualified calls per month consistently, then click the first link in the description and book a call with my team. It's completely free. We will map out the exact strategy you need based on where you are right now and where you want to go. But here's the thing, I'm not going to force you to book that call. There is no pressure at all. If you just want to keep watching these videos and learning from the content I put out, that's totally fine. Keep sticking around. I'm going to keep documenting my journey and sharing what's working. But if you are serious about scaling, if you want someone who has been doing this since 2020 to show you the exact playbook, the link is there. Book a call with my team. Let's talk. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.